It's 4:30 in the morning on Friday. Of course, you know, for me it's still Thursday. Had a real treat today, 2 treats. I don't know, I was checking email or something like that, and something popped up with Adam, Parable of the Vineyard YouTube channel. I go over there, he's got a live stream going on YouTube, and he's hanging out with Rob Stone. I'm laughing because I have something to share about that, but I'm not going to share it right now. I like teasers, don't I? I'm going to share it on Tuesday's newscast. Something, you know, Rob did that I think is kind of funny. Anyway, I'm like, oh, cool, you know, live stream. You know, I've heard about this thing, but I don't know anything about it. And big surprise, who pops up? Scotty. Eternal Rhythm Flow YouTube channel, Scott Clark. And I was like, wow, you know, I haven't seen Scotty in what, 2-3 months? Yeah, like 3 months. And you know, like I've said a number of times before, you know, Scotty's doing his thing. This is his MO. He'll be back. Well, this was encouraging because not only was it good to see our brother Scotty again, but he's talking about some things, maybe a video he's working on that sounds pretty exciting. But you know, it was just really cool. And Paul called me from Zeus Mossbender, and I says, you know, he says, are you busy? I says, well, yeah, I'm watching this live stream with Adam and Rob, and Scotty just popped in. Go check it out. He said, all right, well, I'll call you tomorrow. That's cool. So he goes over, and you know, I had been watching for a while before Paul went over, and then Paul went over and he commented in the chat section, and Adam says, Zeus Mossbender, Paul's here. And you know, everybody cheered Paul on. And I says, well, I may as well let them know I'm here. You know, it's like, hey, I'm here too, you know. And Adam's reaction was funny. He's like, Alan Horvath's here, you know. And then there's this bit of a crescendo going on. But you know, what was so cool about it was, can you still, yeah, you can still see Paul over there. That's his new video. I'm going to mention that in a minute. But it was a beautiful fellowship, you know, to see 5 of us all together. Really, you know, it was 3, but then me and Paul pop up, you know, and there are 5 of us all cheering each other on, showing a love for our brotherhood and this fellowship thing. And I forget who said it. Somebody said, you know, we all have differing opinions on different, you know, things that aren't crucial points in the word, but we all have something very unique. Abba's been talking to me about all of us speaking with one voice. Echad. Oh, look, I just put 2 pieces together. I didn't know that was there. It's just, it really is, it's precious. And I'm hoping that maybe the 5 of us can get together and create more of a fellowship, you know. We'll see as Abba leads. But, you know, then I watched Paul's video, and he was, you know, he's touching on the same thing, and that was before he even saw Adam and Rob and Scotty talking about what they were talking about. I think Paul's talking about the same thing in his video. So anyhow, I'll have links to both of them under this, and more to say in Tuesday's newscast. It's just really cool to see us all together with everyone in the chat area, all enjoying each other's company. Pretty encouraging. Sure would be nice if we could do that on the banks of the River Chai in the Shamayim. Maybe sooner than we think. So, you know, last week I talked about this puzzle. I've had some more thoughts about it. Because this really is what your Bible looks like. Everybody's different. Because everybody's at different stages with their studies in Yahweh's Word. But this is what it comes down to. You start off with this pile of stuff. You don't know nothing. And by the way, if you can see what's here, I don't know if you can or not. Let me see if I can dump it on the floor by mistake. I sat down just for maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes after last week's sitting in the Word, and you know, it started coming together a little too quick. I could probably do this thing on a rainy day, but it's a very simple puzzle. 300 piece. That's nothing. Big. These are big pieces. But that's how it starts off, you know, when you're first wanting to really have a relationship with Elohim. This is where you start, you know. You get yourself a Bible and you just start learning stuff. And the pieces are big at first. And they go together pretty quick. Further along you get, the smaller the pieces become. The bigger the pile becomes. And by the way, last week I talked about Hashatan, Satan, egging you on. Come on, you can do it. You know, don't bother praying. Don't ask for Elohim's help. Just do it. You can do it. You know, put all the edges together and blah, blah, blah. Well, I got news for you. When it comes to this puzzle with Abba's Word, there are no edges and there are no corners. It just keeps going and going and going. And I said, you know, my puzzles now, they're about, you know, this big, and the pile's like mountainous, and the puzzle that I've got together is probably spread out over a 2-acre land mass. And there's no edges, there's no corners, because it is never ending. The Father's Word is unsearchable. My daughter asked me one time, Dad, what does that mean? That Abba is unsearchable. And sonny, what he's saying is, you can search and search and search and search, and you can discover and discover and discover and discover, and there will never be an end to the searching or the discovering. That's how this puzzle goes. It just keeps getting bigger. It gets more exciting. It gets more fulfilling. It becomes more and more beautiful. And we're all putting a puzzle together of Yahweh's Word. It's not Elohim's Word. Elohim, the Word is part of Elohim. Yeshua is the Word. It's Yahweh's Word, Yeshua, that we are discovering. And it's endless. How wonderful is that? And yeah, Paul mentioned that too. How crazy was it? Puzzle. I don't know. You know, I knew I wasn't going to be outside because it's getting cold, and I thought I need something to distract me, because when I'm outside, there's all kinds of distractions, and And I think that's what I love the most about walking in the Word. Well, now I'm in the house. I'm strapped into one position, so I got 2 cameras up, trying to make it more, I don't know, vibrant like it is when I'm outside walking. And then I thought, well, this would be a distraction. Although it hasn't been that much. And you can see how much I got together in 30 minutes. If I put a piece or 2 together in between these videos, that's cool enough. But yeah, Paul asked for prayer about his daughter. The relationship isn't what he would like it to be. And I just want to say to you, my brother, boy, do I know what you're talking about. I've mentioned in Walking in the Words before quite a bit of my history at this point. I was married for 5 years. We had Michele about 3 years in, and I left when Michele was 2 years old. Whew, boy, the story that, she's 41 now. This year, just turned last month. And we've been together 11 solid years now. And I always used to say, well, when she's 30 years old, she's going to look at everything differently and want to see Daddy's side of things. And that's pretty much what happened. We touched bases a number of times throughout all those years, but it was quite a nightmare. And I know how you feel, Paul. It's tough, but there's a scripture, a couple of them. One of them is where Yahweh says, I will restore what the locusts destroyed. And I figured, well, locusts, demons, they tried to destroy my relationship with my daughter. But when she was 10 years old, she came downstairs one night in Nashville. She was staying with me for about a month. And she asked me about Jesus. We talked, and I prayed the prayer of salvation with her. She received the Ruach HaKodesh, 10 years old. When she was 30, she told me how she felt the Ruach come into her, and she never forgot it. And I'm convinced that indwelling kept her in the light all these years. Well, when she was 30, one thing led to another. She was very angry with me. She was angry with me. And it was all through emails at first, and I just encouraged her to let it out. And I let her just dump it on me, until I felt like, she got it all out. And then I kind of came back at her with, well, okay, that's settled now. What are you going to do about it, But I prayed. There was another scripture too. I think it's in Isaiah. I can't remember. But where Abba Father says, if you give yourself to me, I will barak your children. And boy, I stood on that one. And I do not support name it and claim it garbage. But I do support Abba Father's word. When he says, if you do this, I'll do that, man, you can count on it. And he did. He Baruch, my child, he blessed her. And he restored what the locusts destroyed. We went through that routine of, like, okay, honey, let it out, dump it on me. Because in any kind of a conflict in a relationship, each person, the one thing they need the most is for the other person to understand their hurt. So, we got that out of the way, and then I went to Abba, and we started spending time together, and I made sure that it was founded in, I've been saying this in recent videos, pray. You've got to do everything with Elohim. And she'd be coming to visit. Before she got there, I have a meeting with Elohim and say, please, Abba, make this work. I can't, you can. And that was 11 years ago. It didn't take long at all. She fell in love with his word as much as I ever have been, as readily. And we started studying his word together, and our relationship. I think I've said this in videos before, and I've said it to my family. If you look at the history of things, my relationship with my daughter should be the worst parent-child relationship in the whole family. And it isn't. It is the best. Me and Michele are Echad. Paul brought that up in his recent video too. He says, isn't that a beautiful word? Echad. Come on, Paul. Can you do that? Get into it and enjoy it. It's pronounced Echad. Echad. Ruach HaKodesh. Yeshua HaMashiach. You got to get that in there, man. It's part of the pronunciation. I ain't trying to be picky. It doesn't matter. I don't care what anyone says or doesn't say. If it's Yeshua or Jesus. I only care about the heart. If you're in love with our Mashiach, Messiah, that's all that matters. So anyway, work on your puzzle. That's how you trim your wicks. That's how you keep your lamps ablaze. Talked with Mark Paladino yesterday. We're ready. He still has to go out to his sister's place. It's like a 2-hour drive. He'll get to that this week. I got a feeling there's nothing out there, but there might be, and if there is, fine, we'll just add it in. But right now he's taken, I forgot to ask him, how many tapes does he have? He's got a lot of tapes, all kinds of different tapes. 2-inch tape, 1-inch tape, 1/2-inch tape, 1/4-inch tape, half track, quarter track, 4-track, 24-track, you name it. And we've agreed on someone who will take them all and determine by his own expertise which ones need to be baked, which ones don't. And then he will put them on the appropriate machine. You've got to need, I would think, at least a half dozen machines to get all these tapes. And he's going to run them through onto an external hard drive. That's just the beginning. At that point, we're going to have like a ton of songs, but there could be, a half dozen tapes that are just copies of this one tape. And Paladino is going to have to, he's got the ears to do it. He's going to have to listen and determine, oh, these are the copies of this one. Get rid of those. Then he'll get down to like, okay, here's the masters of each recording session. Here's the songs that are on each one, and we'll see how many songs we have. We could I know we have more than a dozen songs, just from conversations that we've had. There are some songs I can't wait to hear. Special songs. We could have, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 songs. I don't know. These are sessions that happened every year, sometimes more than once a year for 8 to 9 years. Figure 5 or 6 songs per session. There's got to be quite a bit. So, where are we? Today's Thursday. You'll be seeing this on the weekend. So next week, the tapes will be transferred, and we'll have a starting point on knowing what songs we have. And also by then he'll know if there's any tapes out at his sister's place. If so, run those quick, get those added to the hard drive. Then we make copies onto 2 other hard drives. And then Mark goes to work mastering. No, we're not even going to get there probably until February. January is going to be a matter of how many songs do we have? Which ones belong together, and how many groups are there? Then, if I'm guessing right, maybe in February, Mark will master everything. Now that's some serious work. I mean, he's got to tweak it up. He's got to clean things up, tweak things up. But what he's working with is analog tape recordings. There's the fridge again. I hate it when that happens. Analog recordings on magnetic tape. I promise you, you will be able to hear the room that I was sitting in when I played my guitar and sang. You can't do this with digital. Digital's just too clean. It's so clean, it's disgusting. But we have analog, and we're transferring it to digital, and we can make that analog shine like it did on day one. Also, if we have some that are 4-track or 24-track, those are individual tracks that Mark can remix and remaster that way. It's going to be pretty exciting. Honestly, one prayer I have that I'll share with you in hopes that some of you prayer warriors will pray for me on this. I'm an emotional guy. What can I say? It's that Middle Eastern blood, you know? Weep over a smile. Anyway, I'm praying that Elohim will put a heavy calling on Mark Paladino's heart and cause him to have an insatiable appetite for his word. And also, Mark keeps talking about these songs could be commercially viable and make a lot of money. Really don't care about that. But I'm praying that there will be that. And I already told Mark, I says, if there's anything like that, you head it up, make your own company, manage the whole thing, own the whole thing. I hope if it makes you millions of dollars, I'm happy. If I need any money, I'll let you know. Can we just leave it like that? Because what I want is that if Paladino could retire and just work something out of this, that would make my heart very happy, because he's old school. He's all about what he did with me those years ago. This whole thing has caused him to weep big time, because it's what he loves doing. Getting an artist in a studio, making that artist forget he's in, or she is in a studio, and capturing the essence of that person on tape. And I've said it last week, he's a world-class music producer. He's got a gift from Elohim in this. And I don't know how many, past 10 years, 20 years, how long has it not been analog recordings? And he's worked very hard. He always gets, you know, artists from the big labels, and they ask him to produce them. And you know, he's had to hire guys that know all this digital computer stuff. He's an older guy, you know, he doesn't like computers at all. And I just know that, you know, where's his heart and his work anymore? You know, can he enjoy his work? Well, maybe with this, he can, and he's old enough, he should retire. He shouldn't have to, you know, beat the commercial pavement anymore. So, I ask you for your prayers on that. Otherwise, I think that's all I have to say. I know I'm enjoying things. You know, I'm hoping that somehow we can get Scotty and Adam and Rob and me and Paul to do a regular thing, even if it's once a month or once a week. I don't care. If I'm not sleeping, I'll be there. But I'd like to do that because it felt like a really cool fellowship. So let's all pray on that too. And we'll call this a Walk in the Word. It's 5 a.m. Friday morning, so I'll go to work editing this, get it loaded up. I'll probably be going to bed around 11 a.m., maybe noon. I'll be getting up at like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Friday night. And then I'll finish the editing, get it up on YouTube and Vimeo so it can go live Saturday morning. But that's our sitting in the Word for this week, my friends. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your love, your support, and your prayers. As always, you know, keep your wicks trimmed and keep your lamps ablaze. Shalom, Chavri.